Okay, fine. So can I start now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so hello everybody. I'm one of managers in maintenance QA. We are responsible for the testing of the updates for the SUSE Linux Enterprise server. We are using openQA as our primary automation testing framework, and we have some very specific requirements for that case, because we do not test snapshot once in a while or once a day, but let's say several times a day. And therefore we have this for the review of the results in openqa, we have selected a group of people who are specializing in automation and have a very good insight into how it works, and therefore they have some requirements or some ideas which could improve, let's say, their work experience, and therefore I would like to ask them now to present this to you, to discuss with you. You are the experts, I'm just introducing them. So together with me here is Josef Pupava, our probably most experienced guy in openQA automation, and together with him is also Michael Grifalconi, who is also getting very fast up to speed. He has already very good knowledge of the situation. He is also contributing to the openQA review. So guys, now I'm handing over to you. Please raise your topics. I will go silent now, and also please note that around 9:30 I am receiving a package, so I will have to run away for a while, and I might be, let's say, less responsive. So Josef, Michael, now handing over to you.
Shall I say something?
Sure,
Yes.
go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So hopefully you can see me as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I collected a few ideas that might not reflect all reviewers or anyone else than me, but maybe hopefully can be some discussion points. The good thing, let's say, maybe from my point of view, is that I did a review only twice, so I'm very new to the topic, and maybe I feel the pain on some things that everyone else maybe it's used to. Let's see. So one thing is the restarts. So that's one thing that I liked from the restarts, auto restart of jobs, because I found myself in the time I was doing the review that I was restarting jobs most of the time and looking for jobs to restart. Most of the time that were just hiccups, network, strange things that never happened. So if I see the error the first time and it's not very obvious, I just restart it, go over, and then look again. If it fails twice, then I spend the time on it. So maybe this is one thing that I would like more auto retry for things that are not reproducible. After, of course, trying to fix the root cause. Anyway, another thing is the comments, and this was discussed, I think, heavily in the last weeks. That the auto comments on this the bot that was doing the investigation was painful, because on the openQA dashboard you see this gray star, or how we call this, that says every failure has a comment or a ticket connected to it, and this means for me I don't look at it completely because it's already been handled. So I think the big problem is not that the job does a comment, but that a star appears, maybe. Just my idea. So I think that this star should appear when either progress issue or a bugzilla ticket is connected, or maybe a special command says ignore, #ignore, or something like that. But I think someone should be able to comment on a failure with consequence to ignore this failure. So if I comment, I have seen this before, but I have no idea why it's happening. This failure should not be ignored. So maybe some improvement on the rules, how this star appears on a job group, I think could be helpful. Then I have another couple of topics. Then I'll leave the stage to you. Dashboards. So I would love to see a single page where all failures that I care about, so I guess most of the failures on the openQA machines, in one page. I don't want to click thousands of times between updates, 12 SP4, 12 SP5, and so on, to find the failures and then look into that. I only care about the failure. I don't care about green jobs and soft fails. So I would like to see just the failures and not opening 100 tabs and then start from the beginning, because maybe I restart some jobs and I want to go back to that. So some dashboards for all failures or all things a reviewer cares about, I think would be helpful. I would also love some squad related dashboards. So I would like to see the tests that fails that are owned by my squad. So that squad master, product owner can see, hey, is our stuff broken proactively before the reviewer finds out? And I think would be helpful also, because if I write a new test, I also have to look into every version to see if it works everywhere. But having a dashboard for my squad, I think could be helpful. And connected to that, a better overview on ownerships. So if I see something fails, I don't want to find a name of a maintainer that maybe was the original creator of a file that left the company, moved somewhere, and we don't know. But also maybe it's the real owner and he's on vacation. I can of course ask more experienced people, but having a name of a team, a squad who is responsible, maybe a channel on Rocket Chat, mailing list, whatever, could be very helpful, because you cannot rely on a single person, but having a team responsible for that, I think it's easier. And the last thing is about auto review, so auto approval of updates, because of this happens only when all tests are green. But if I restart a test and then gets green, sometimes this check for reviews happens, I don't know, twice a day, so not often enough. And someone joined, which is very loud.
Who is the moderator in that channel?
Okay, so now it's better. So yeah, auto review. I think
Sarah is the moderator. I see that.
would be nicer to have it maybe more often, or being able to trigger something like, hey, please review this update request, so I don't have to again open 50 tabs, look around, restart something, and then manually approve a request. So I think I mentioned most of the things that I was doing as a reviewer. It felt that I was not giving much, let's say, experience or knowledge into that, but was just a mechanical thing. So if it's green, click on approve. If I want to approve a request, look into 50 tabs to make sure they're green. I think most of these things can be automated to save time. And yeah, I think that's it. I throw at you a lot of random ideas. I hope that something makes sense.
This is already great feedback. Thanks so much. I noted down the points as you mentioned them. So I think we can cover these points later. I would like then to respond to say, what is already possible but maybe not known or maybe not obvious how to find that or how to use that, which is always a point where we can try to improve it. Not just to tell like, yeah, it's all possible and we are done, but really to say like, okay, make it more streamlined, more accessible, make it more obvious. And the other point is about things like, okay, maybe this is not possible right now, and then we can think about if this is something that we can improve in the future.
And of course, I would like to invite everyone else to also join in the conversation if people have similar observations or comments or suggestions on that. Yeah, I guess, Joseph, did you also want to bring a few things up?
I have raised my hand.
Sorry, I didn't see that.
Or did I? Yeah. No? Okay. No? Anyway.
I don't see the hand, but I'd say go ahead.
No. Okay. Okay, I just want to jump in here because I can kind of confirm what Michael has just said. So first of all, this gray round circle, I have said this already when it was introduced, that I have the same problem. I cannot really rely on this gray circle anymore to be sure that everything is reviewed. Another thing that I would like to ask is, I have a link to a QA maintenance dashboard, and this link almost never works. So do you, Michael, refer to this non-working dashboard, or is there another dashboard, or is this what you would like to see?
I have no idea about
okay.
what you mentioned, so what I would like to see.
Yeah. So you go to openQA, SUSE QEM, and you open every product in a single tab. Is that what you are doing?
Yeah.
Okay. I as I said, I have seen a dashboard once, and this was some weeks ago, and it does not. The link never works whenever I click on it. So I'm just wondering if we could reuse it, making this one better. Maybe this is what you're looking for.
Marita, would you mind sharing a link so that we know what are you talking about?
It was the dashboard from Kulo, but
it's work in progress. Yeah.
No, it was working, but some kind of politics, or I don't know why, because Kulo just took it down. Because as I know that Andre is working on some dashboard, so it was just some like demo dashboard.
It's not formally decided where and how it's deployed, I think. So you probably would have been looking at the test instance.
Yeah. I'm just curious. It's not my daily business to look into this. I'm just gonna say there was something which is maybe not officially not fixed or whatever, which could help Michael with his work. Just saying. And there was another. There was another point. What did he say? Yeah, I forgot. I just wanted to share this. That's all from my side. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, good. So, who next?
Joseph, would you like also to raise some items?
Yeah, I wanted to correct some things that Michael said. The problem for maintenance was that the jobs were not restarted; they were cloned, and that's kind of difference, which is kind of big problem. The dashboard is the thing that Kulo created very quickly, some kind of demo dashboard how it could look, but then somehow Andre and Sebastian, or I don't know who exactly, started to work on some other dashboard. So I don't know how exactly it is now, but yeah, there is some ongoing work on dashboard. So
yes, Andres is working on that. He was rather optimistic, so he was thinking about this week maybe even.
Maybe it would make sense to think about requirement for this dashboard since it's been developed. Does it make sense to just to make sure that it fills the need, or is it already discussed how it's going to look like?
It's not really discussed. So far it's Honestly, it's pretty unclear, and there were some ideas stated and ideas collected, but maybe Andre is working on that, maybe not. I don't have a clue.
Okay, so I see that there is, let's say, lack of information about this topic. Timo, are you up to speed with this automation dashboard or whatever it is called?
Sorry, I don't have
Timo?
any knowledge about the dashboard work.
Okay, okay. I will then poke Andre, and I will. I think that Mihai and probably you should also be involved.
Can I ask again to clarify what do you mean automate dashboard?
That's a dashboard specific for the maintenance QA, but I mean we are now kind of getting off topic, so I will just take this item and I will make sure that more people are up to speed who are relevant to this. But anyway, I would like to return back to the discussion of the automation or openQA itself. So, Joseph.
Yeah. Right. So, Joseph, do you want to share more details, like how, just like in your daily work, how you do the review, and maybe what works good and what does not work that good?
Well, we have tests, two group of tests, and when everything is passing, the release request is approved, and like nothing has to be done. But when there are failures can be update problem or openQA problem, whatever. Then reviewer has to investigate if it's relevant problem. Update has to be rejected or modified or whatever, or openQA fixed. So and here the problem start if on the new failure is some unknown comment from some bot or whatever. I don't like it's making it harder for a reviewer to like identify this because of the star at the beginning, let's say.
You mean comment like from openQA investigate, which is now excluded for maintenance?
Yeah. That now it's now it's okay. So, but just for explanation. And regarding if there will be like restarting of failures, which is I think possible with the progress issue.
Yeah.
This thing, I think it's another problem, because I don't know. For me, like never really worked, but I don't know if I'm pretty sure the regression was okay, but I don't know. The restart never happened. So, but it's another I think team.
Right. So this is the one topic which I noted down: auto retry or restart for known hiccups, and there are different options that can work, not just one. We can also go into details more about that later. All right.
And I don't know if, what else I can say. I think that's kind of all. But
do you have other points related to UI or your workflow? So Michael also mentioned things like how to find out the failures they're interested in, or things like that. Like this could cover anything that's related to your things you do all the time that could be maybe automated or made more obvious.
Yeah, it's regarding to the dashboard, for example. We have to go through every release request. You know, there is like a lot of clicking through the smelt, and so the dashboard would be much easier when there would be some dashboard. You would have like only the failures there. Like it's few clicks and you are done. But now we have to go through many pages of web pages of Smelt or openQA to investigate and resolve the failures. But it's like really maintenance specific. So
Guys, may I say something here?
Yeah,
It's
please go
because
ahead.
I have the same issue when doing the public cloud jobs review. And especially we had a peculiar case there because the jobs are running the whole day and you have to do the review just aside and you never know when one of the jobs is passing. And clicking there around was so annoying that last week I just sit down and I hacked a small thing there. And perhaps I just show you what I did and then you tell me if this is something that we could also or that you would like to have. Because it would be relatively easy to adapt this.
Yeah.
So I
Okay,
have
good.
this. You see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we can see that.
Yes.
So I just wrote this. It just fetches the current jobs and it lists them. And the cool part is that you can do hide status fast, for instance. And then you get a dashboard or a list at this stage only about the public cloud jobs, but it hides, for instance, best or scheduled jobs. And I let this then just run in the background. And once it is running and the job changes the status, for instance, it is failing, I get a desktop notification. Is this something that goes in the direction of what you want to have, Michael and Josa?
For my side, yeah, I think that's something that looks cool and exactly what I would like to see. So clean out all the things I don't care about and show me the failures. And one thing on top of that, I would like more, let's say, delegation between the owners of the tests. So maybe just because I'm inexperienced, but I feel like it would be much easier if every squad review his own tests instead of one person that has a lot of knowledge or need to have a lot of knowledge to investigate other teams' code. Instead, everyone looks and take care of his own chunk of tests. Like every morning, someone in the squads or whoever is responsible to make sure that things they own, they work. And who better than the creators or the colleagues of the creator can investigate?
Yeah, that's what you meant with better overview on the ownerships.
Yeah, but also delegation directly of the review. So not a single person, but like
exactly.
Felix is checking his cloud jobs. I check the QA core jobs and so on.
Right. Okay.
Hold on.
Marita?
Yeah, I just can confirm what Michael just said, not as a reviewer, but if I want to have an overview, if I go to product QA stuff, it's there are sections for each group, and each group has to do its own review, as just described. If I go to maintenance, for me it's always a big list, and it's not split into parts. I mean, for public cloud, it's now separately, but everything else is one big chunk, and I do not know in which areas the things are failing. Exactly like Michael said, if in maintenance it would also be maybe split into subgroups, job groups, then it would be much more easier to talk to the relevant people. So if you say, for example, it's a virtualization thing, you go to the Xen experts. If it's I don't know, functional, if it's Yast, if it's security, whatever. So for product QA, this is all split in groups, and if I review it, I know whom to talk to, at least the group. But for maintenance, it's all one big chunk. Yeah, I agree totally with him. I have the same problem, not for reviewing, but if I want to check things out.
But there is certainly a challenge which is different, that for maintenance the level that introduces more the longer list is it's on a different level. For product validation, we say like, okay, there's one product which is currently in validation, which is Sleep 15 SP3, for example, and then from there on we have job groups which are component specific. For maintenance, is like the other way around. You say you have like, we have 10 products that are independent in maintenance right now, and for every of them we check Firefox in Firefox test.
Yeah, that's clear to me, but maybe we can have we can bring it together a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I mean, this is what we are trying to collect here. Okay. So, if you don't mind, I would like to share a bit from my side on the points that we have collected right now. Give you some ideas of some things that maybe already work, some things that already exist, maybe need adaptation. Maybe you're always, we are happy to receive feedback later if you come back to us. But it can also be that there are things which are really new feature requests, and we can think about how to do them in the future. So the first point which I noted down, so Michael, you mentioned auto retry or restart for known hiccups. Yeah, I think it's important to use the correct wording here. I know that sometimes in the openQA context it's a bit confusing. I mean, there's a little re-trigger button in the web UI, like the circle, which you can click, and that one re-triggers the job within the same scenario. And this is also what most tooling around looks at. If we see a failed job and re-trigger the job over that way, and the same way it's possible over the API to restart or re-trigger a job, and then afterwards it's green, then that is taken as the new instance of the same test, even if it's not the same job. And there are ways to handle known hiccups. Of course, there is one way to say within the test code we can catch these failures and then retry. And often this is the best case, the most sustainable way. I know that, for example, Josef did a great job to try to stabilize tests a lot in this way. Josef, I think Zipper is a good example where we apply retry on multiple levels within the test code, right? There what is done is to say, well, if Zipper fails to refresh a repository because either there's some proxy in the middle or some download server which is not accessible, and unfortunately in non-interactive mode Zipper is designed in a way that it will abort on a first failure, unlike in the interactive way, because in interactive way Zipper actually has more internal retrying. I created a feature request for Zipper and it was denied to have retries on the non-interactive way. So what we can do within the test code is to say, like, well, if Zipper fails, we don't need to restart the openQA test, which takes like 4 hours. We just run Zipper in a loop with like 7 retries within the test code. And again, often this is the best way because it's the fastest way. It's the lowest level on which we see a failure occurring, and on that level, when we retry, we detect the error condition, we detect the resolution, and we can resolve it in the fastest way. So this is my suggestion to everybody, to say, if you have issues which you have seen more than once, regardless if you consider that a bug or not a bug and just expected behavior, think about handling any kind of retry and handling of these conditions on that level, changing the test code to cover that.
A quick comment about this, which makes a lot of sense. Just to make sure that makes sense suggesting to retry on Zipper, but since we have a lot of tests, a lot of people that write tests, and we have a wrapper for zip calls, a function zip call, I would propose really to do that into the wrapper. So every time someone calls Zipper in that function, we check its Zipper install, try again multiple times. So
and you know what, this is exactly the example which I invite, where I think mainly Josef contributed a lot to make that Zipper wrapper reliable. And of course it can be, if someone writes a new test module and just calls type string Zipper, then it doesn't use the wrapper. So it will work for once, and then eventually you will run into the same problem, and then of course you need to learn that this wrapper exists, which does multiple things, but basically the happy path is it just does the same. It calls Zipper, right? Only if something goes wrong, then it can handle that. So yeah, for that one needs to know the code path of tests.
Yeah. Do we have some wiki with best practices on how to write tests, like use this way instead of, I see also multiple ways to handle needles, weight screen and so on. And sometimes in
Yes.
PR reviews, I find out, this would have been better. Is there a common place
Yeah,
to collect?
that's a good point. I mean, I know of one place which I added just recently, so not that long ago, within the test distribution. I mean, we are talking about Ordnance Distri OpenSUSE, which is just one test distribution, but it's the most important one for OpenSUSE and fleet tests, right? And there is one document which is describing best practices and coding style. So far, it doesn't cover something like a zipper wrapper. You're free to review that, and if you find occurrences of known pitfalls and things where it could have helped already, feel free to extend that. Some other points are mentioned, like don't put sleep in the code because it's just a recipe for falling on your feet again 1 week later, and use something like a multi-tag assert screen call, checking for alternatives and such things. Okay, the next thing about restarting tests. There are cases where from the low-level openQA side, we know of problems and where we know that jobs will incomplete, and we have automatic restart, which is configurable. It's configurable on the layer of workers and the infrastructure. So this is not really meant for something that is product specific. So one example, as we mentioned before, if zipper would fail, we don't want to use that restart, but it's more meant like if the cache service of openQA misbehaves and we have a problem with the network stack on the openQA worker and we end up with incompleting job for various reasons, then we can handle that restart on that layer. It has a good default. So for example, what we already do is when just in case we reboot an openQA worker host, then the jobs that had been running at this time will be aborted, but they will be automatically retriggered, right? Because there's no sense in needing human reviewers to identify these jobs and then restart just because the physical host that runs openQA was rebooting. And this can be configured. So for the sake of completeness, I also wanted to mention that, because if there are cases which you encounter like known hiccups which are really not related to the product testing or the test code, then we can also change that. So right now we also have a single regex which we can put into the configuration file, and we have salt recipes for the OSD infrastructure where we can also extend that. Then one more way where you can handle restart is what I call auto review. And actually in the first workshop session which we had here, I presented that in particular. So I would just like to share my Chromium tab showing you that. This is the GitHub OS auto inst scripts repo, and there's one section about auto review. This is what Joseph mentioned with that it didn't work for him. Yeah, I would be interested in helping you so that it does work for you. Basically, the idea is the following: that based on regular expressions in tickets, in our examples, that is progress tickets, we can automatically label jobs, and optionally we can retry jobs. So one example would be the following: you have a ticket and you put in auto under review : and then double ticks error 42 found, double ticks : retry, and that means whenever we find that string error 42 found in either the reason field of the job for incomplete jobs or in the log file, in auto inst log, the complete log file is searched for that expression. And if that expression is found, then this job will be automatically labeled with the according ticket, and it will be re-triggered. Okay? And this is really meant to help on the level of a random hiccup can appear in any job group and not just within a single job group. And then the last thing which I want to mention, and this is what had been there for the longest time, is referencing the openQA documentation. There is the label carryover. Okay, and that label carryover works by you put a bug reference into a comment of a job, and if another job in the same test scenario fails, then this label is carried over. The caveat is that with how the SUSE maintenance tests are currently structured, that really doesn't help much there. It helps, think about a case like, let me show you simple examples. Oops. Simple examples like tumbleweed. Okay, so tumbleweed, you have every day you have one build, and in every day there are some failures which are basically the same as before. They are still not fixed because there's no enterprise contract to say everything has to be fixed before really something. If you don't know that, Michael, you also mentioned something like having a dashboard. So I think there are some features in the test overview page which can help you. And let me start with showing that of course we can just filter by failed jobs. And what we see here is that there's a lot of jobs already marked with a bug icon. And if we take a look into one example, then here we can likely see that, you see it's like the very same module fails in the same way, one build after another. But we can also see that the label changes. So this is the first time a job failed. And what we see is that because it's the first time and the issue was not known, openQA investigate kicks in and it triggers multiple jobs. And these jobs are not direct clones, so they are not meant to say, it's a known issue, we will re-trigger and then the new job turns out good, but it's really meant as just additional information. And what we can see then afterwards is that after this comment was added, by the way here, this comment means that, which we can also see here, in Tumbleweed there's a bot called toTestManager, so that bot will not accept a single comment to say it's an acceptable failure, but only if a human reviewer really reviews that and marks it as acceptable failure, then it's ignored. And this is what happened here, is that someone did create a bug for that specific issue. So it's a product bug that something doesn't work anymore. And then afterwards, there we see the comment by a human reviewer, by Dimstar, the OpenSUSE Tumbleweed release manager. So it says like, okay, that's broken since some snapshots already. Bot, please ignore that. And the bot responds with it ignored it. And we also have a bug reference, so we know what bug we use as a reference. And from then on, we only see the bug reference carried over. So this has not been written by Dimstar anymore, but automatically this is automatically taken over with the bug reference. Okay, so for the sake of completeness, I wanted to mention all the different ways how jobs can be handled and labeled and re-triggered. Did I forget something?
Oliver, may I ask a question?
Sure.
The takeover function only happen if the failure fails on the same module and the same step,
Yes.
right? If the step is different, then the takeover will not happen, right?
Yes, exactly. So this label carryover really just looks at this test module, and it's conservative. So we don't want to mark with the same error if the job looks different, if there's anything changing, and if it's just that a new module fails in before, then the label is not carried over. Correct. One better way how to handle that now would be to use auto review. So if we take a look, what we see here is that, for example, there is this message that it says test died, no candidate needle with text, generic desktop. So what one could do is take a look into the log file, look for that message test died, and then include that in a regex. But I suggest to be more specific to also include something like the scenario name. If we take a look here, then we will see where it says scheduling or something. So what I would do is I would have a progress ticket, and that progress ticket has in the name something like awesome, and then a multi-line regex to look for awesome and failed to find generic desktop. And then the same ticket is used as an automatic label for the very same failure, regardless if it fails in Tumbleweed or in Leap or in AH64 or in PowerPC and such. Okay. So, so much about auto retry and restart. Yes, about the black certificate icon versus to-do list. So, I showed you there in Tumbleweed that was never a problem because the important information is from the bot. But I understood the difference in the workflows for maintenance as well as for product validation. So we have noted down as a feature request to better handle that. We have a to-do list and we have the black certificate icon, and I was thinking about maybe we can let you as users configure what is the requirement for a certain icon to show up, or maybe we will just introduce another specific icon which you can look out for to mean exactly what you configure as completely reviewed, or we will change maybe the existing rules for the icon to just show up if they are only bug references or maybe explicit ignore marks. Would that help? All right. So then about dashboard, all failures that I care about in one view. Okay, maybe I can show you one more thing. Michael, I would like to ask you: did you know about this filter possibilities that I showed you?
Yeah, but this is
okay.
The biggest, let's say, pain point is to open all tabs of each version. So I don't think I can filter for that, right?
You can. It's just, let's say, a bit of manual work. So let's take a look here. For example, we have Leap 15.2 updates and 15.1 updates, right? So you might be interested in, of course, the same view for both. And of course, one way would be to open all of this in tabs, but that's not that much fun. What you can do though is, if you take a look in the address bar, actually, do you see my address bar? I think not.
No.
Right, because I'm just sharing this single tab. Let me change that. Does this work better?
Yeah.
Right. So in the address bar, because you're an enterprise user, so you should know about the professional advanced usage. What you can do is you can tweak the filters, and for example, you see that this group has one group ID 69, and there is the Leap 15.1 updates, which is group overview 61. And what you can do is you can combine them. Okay, so what you can do is you can, for example, combine these two, leave out the version so that it doesn't limit to just 15.2. And then what we, I think we also have to get rid of the build. And what you will see is, yeah, okay, that's a problem because for some reason the same build is not scheduled in the same job groups. We would have to talk to whoever triggers these builds. That's a bit unfortunate. Let me show you another example where I know that it works. So now we have Tumbleweed, and we say we don't care about just the one job group but multiple. Then we can strip out the group overview query, and then we can see that it takes much longer because it takes a look at more jobs, and maybe then you are just interested in all the jobs that do not yet have any label. So we click the to do label, and you will find that there are scenarios shown from multiple job groups. For example, these are from the kernel list, and these from the kernel job group, and these below are likely from the development Tumbleweed job group and such.
Just one remark on my side. We have about 10 minutes left, and some people may be joining the Leo workshop soon.
Yeah, exactly. I also would like to finish some minutes before that. So I just wanted to mention that with the test overview page, that should allow you to offer you some things. I know that it's you would need to know about that. It's mentioned in the documentation. The problem is really, well, not a problem, but one way how to improve it would be to say, we would need to find a way to make that more prominent to the web UI user, so that they find that feature by being able to click somewhere. But we haven't found a good place where we can offer that, because already the filter box is already getting a bit complicated, and adding more and more to it can also be complicated. So this is one reason why we don't have that. If you have a good idea how we could do that, yeah, please bring it up. But on the other hand, please be aware that some problems are really, let's say, SUSE QEM specific. For example, the one problem that I ran into now is, why is there one build for 19-2 for Leap 15.2 when there's a build -1? The same build exists for 15.1 updates -1, but the -2 build doesn't exist for both. So it's hard to say, yeah, I would like to see the latest from both in the same view, which is not the same build. And the same problem is of course for incidents. That release notes has nothing to do with highlight Docker or Ucode Intel, right? So I don't really know what you consider is interesting for you, and that is different for everyone. Still, we are open to improve that. We just need to find a way how to make that feasible and streamlined. And by the way, there's one more thing about like a condensed report. There is openQA review. And openQA review is also exactly meant for that, as we have seen from one example Felix showed, which is great, about the personal notification. openQA review doesn't do that. What openQA review does do is provide some kind of overview where you can filter for yourself and provide custom reports. For example, we have for all different kind of job groups, we have published that within the SUSE network for openQA SUSE DE. So you can take a look there based on openQA review how it looks like. But there are many other options. The API should be accessible, so everybody should be able also to build your custom tooling if you need that.
There was one point that I think you didn't cover yet that Michael mentioned about ownership and about identifying someone to contact in terms of in particular groups where you don't necessarily know, or the person you're expecting to talk to may not be available.
Yeah, exactly. So what we have as a custom policy for OS Audience Distri OpenSUSE is of course having the maintainer within a test module. And Michael, you mentioned one example where the person doesn't even work for the company anymore. I have a really simple solution to that. I mean, just change the maintainer field, right? I mean, this is just a comment, and the history is maintained in Git. If you encounter these cases, I mean, this should not have happened before a person leaves. Something like that should be.
Someone is on vacation or unavailable that time.
Yes, of course. This is another problem. I mean, we could replace a person with a mailing list, of course, right? But maybe a mailing list is already too big. You can also add a Rocket Chat channel. I mean, why not write there like chat SUSE/testing additionally, or if there's a specific group. I think that's a good idea.
Sort of for jumping in, yeah, but in our team we already use the mailing list, so we specify our team name for the modules we have developed and maintain, and there's a mailing list to which the whole team is subscribed, so in case there are questions.
You already do that in the maintainer field?
Yes.
That's perfect. Yeah, great. I mean, if you have that well-defined scope, I think that's good. Of course, there are many modules, and I mean that should be the case, that many modules are shared, right? Because otherwise there would be no needs that we even talk to each other. So I know that it would be not possible to have a mailing list for every kind of component. In some cases there is, that's good.
My topic was more not about components, but about team who handles that. I like the idea of a team is responsible for something, because if it's two teams responsible for a piece of code, then no one is, or maybe they have different ideas on how to follow up or priorities. So I like more the idea of one single team, and that means one PO, Scrum Master, who owns that and is responsible for that when it breaks. Makes it much easier, I think, in general.
Right. I mean, in general, what should also always work is, when you create a ticket and then there's the triaging done by the product owners to ensure that the according team picks it up. In most cases, I consider that the best approach, because it could also be that the according product owner for one team is in vacation, and then you wouldn't receive a response within time. But with a ticket, you see that as long as it's not picked up by a team, it's not picked up. So, it would stay on the to-be triage list. Yeah. Well, I noted down these ideas, so I hardly see any topic solved forever, but it's really a good motivation to continue with these discussions also in the future. So yeah, you're all welcome to provide more feedback to us if there's something that we can improve, if we can make something clearer, if we want to implement a new feature. But I think we can also do that again to just share experiences and practices among the different people and among different teams. So yeah, one example is Felix, you showed that one great tool. Yeah, why not do that?
Yeah, we should probably wrap it up here. And yeah, I would also like to invite people, if you want to share your perspective, your workflows, your ideas you may have in future workshops. We're always open for new topics. And yeah, thank you everyone for participating. And I guess happy Leo workshop then.
Yeah, and I would like also to thank Michael and Joseph for raising their topics. Thank you guys. Thank you, Oliver, for the discussion, and thank you everybody who contributed as well. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
I have got another question.
Go ahead.
I cannot log into openQA today because the authorization is asked for localhost instead of openQA. Is there anything wrong today?
Yes. Then, well, that should have been fixed yesterday. Can you ask in the OpenSUSE admin RC channel and ping Bernhard Wiedemann on that?
Okay, I will ask. Thank you.
Thank you.